I have tried the Fujifilm X-S20 for about 3 hours, and in today's video I want to share with you my opinion on the newest Fujifilm camera. First, let's talk about the size and the weight of this camera. The camera is extremely compact and small. It's, I believe, less than 500 grams, and it really feels like nothing in your hand. It is extremely tiny, even smaller than the Fujifilm X-T5 that I have right here. It is super easy to operate, it feels extremely light, and you can stay for hours and hours shooting out there without feeling its weight and without even noticing the camera at all. Now, in terms of build quality, I would say that the camera does definitely feel a little bit more plasticky than the X-T5 or the X-H2S or X-H2, but it's not like it is a deal breaker at all. In terms of ergonomics, compared to the X-T5 or the X-H2 or X-H2S, you are losing some controls. Now, you only have one major dial on the top right of the camera, and you have then a small front and back dial on the right side, and an extra dial on the left side that is mostly used for film simulation. Now, in terms of grip, the grip is deep. It feels right in hand because the camera is so small, and I feel that it would be more suitable with the smaller lenses. I think that if you put a lens at, let's say, the 70-300 or the 50-140 on this camera, it might feel a little bit out of balance in hand. Now, when it comes to the screen of this camera, I don't know if that was due to the setting of the camera that I was using or maybe something else, but it was really kind of hard for me to really visualize my pictures within the camera itself. So it felt really highly contrasty, right, and dark. So I tried to play with it and change it, but still I felt like every time I was taking a picture, the picture on the screen would appear dark, but when I would look at it after, it would be super bright. So maybe it was a setting that I had, the problem that I had, but within the small amount of time that I had with it, that's how I felt. The EVF was okay, I would say, not great, but again, I'm used to X-T5 and X-H2S, so that's what I'm comparing it with at the moment. But I would say that it is comfortable enough for you to shoot, but it's not the best quality out there. In terms of image quality, well, you should not be surprised that the image quality coming out of this camera is great because it's the same sensor as the X-T4, which I've shot a lot with, and I never had any complaint about this sensor. However, what is great with this particular X-S20 is that now it combines the former sensor with the newest processor. When you use this camera, the autofocus is extremely fast. I had no issue at all autofocusing with different kind of subjects. And one particular feature that is very interesting with it is that its auto mode allows you to automatically detect subjects and to change from one subject to another. And this is a feature that is working pretty well from my limited tests. Now, in terms of connectivity, well, you have one SD card slot. You are now using the newest Fujifilm battery. I think you've heard me several times praising the battery because it's just great. One micro HDMI slot, one USB-C, one microphone and one jack port. So that's pretty standard input-output kind of capabilities. Now, you also have the latest IBIS technology from Fujifilm, which works pretty well. You still have some wobbles here and there, but overall it works well. So that's the latest one that you've seen on the X-T5 that I use or the X-H2S. Now, there are also some interesting modes, like the vlog mode. So the vlog mode is basically an easy mode where you will basically turn the camera on you and you can change some settings quite easily. But let's say that the camera will automatically detect you and blur a little bit the background a little bit more. You also have, I think, product priority mode, where if you show something to the camera will automatically focus on this thing instead of your face. So that's useful for content creators who wants to do this kind of content. And now let's talk about the big feature in the X-S20, which the X-T5 doesn't have. It's the open gate 6.2K up to 30 frames per second. Now, the X-H2S has that. The X-H2S is $1,000 more expensive than the X-S20, and in fact that's something that the X-T4, the X-T3 or any other cameras beforehand did not have, right? So the X-S20 is kind of a mini X-H2S for that. And as you can see, the video quality on the X-S20 is really good. Now, keep in mind that I was using an XC lens, but the point is that for this price point of $1,500, if you're someone that is focusing on hybrid content, right? If you want to do both video and photos, I think it makes more sense at the moment to get an X-S20. And I think that's why Fujifilm is releasing this X-S10 and X-S20, is to attract more and more people to the Fujifilm ecosystem. And eventually, if they want to specialize, they can go to X-H2, X-H2S or X-T5. At the moment, it is one of the best propositions on the market when it comes to hybrid camera at this price point of $1,500. Okay, so now let me answer some of the questions that you asked me when I posted about the X-S20 on my community page. And if you want me to answer some of your questions for future videos, make sure to subscribe to make sure that you have access to my community tab. So Joseph Ryan asked, any advantage besides size versus the X-H2S? I feel like this is the FX30 to the X-H2S FX3. Can do everything, but it's pretty damn close. I think that the X-S20, yeah, it's a smaller X-H2S. Of course, you're more limited. You don't have the 120 FPS. You don't have the full HDMI cable. You don't have the internal ProRes. So in a sense, you have more limitation with the X-S20. Also, you don't have the CF Express, right? So the X-H2S is still the more professional version that will give you basically all the options that you need. But the X-S20 is just below that, in my opinion, in terms of video especially. The X-S20 is basically here to say, hey, I can do pretty much everything you need, but if you need this particular niche kind of functionalities, well, here is the X-H2S. Ilas asked, how good is the EVF for still photography? I think it's fine. I think that I personally prefer using the EVF compared to the LCD screen, because the LCD screen was like, I don't know, I didn't like it. It was always dark for me. The EVF was much better. Definitely not the best EVF that I use. The X-H2S one is much better. I believe the X-T5 also, but I think it's fine. Is it worth trading in for the X-S10 by Isuru Lila Ratne? Correct me in the comment if I pronounce your name wrong. Apologies. I would say yes. And first, battery life. That's a big gain. Second, open gate. I mean, if you have open gate and you use it, it doesn't mean that it's worth for everyone. But if you use it, I think it's a huge plus. You also have the cooling fan support. Oh, and I forgot, you also have a flash. I don't know how useful that will be, an integrated flash. It's kind of a feature I should have talked about earlier, but a flash is also integrated within the camera. So yeah, I think for all those reasons, it makes sense to upgrade from one to the other. Build quality and size compared to the X-T5. I would say that, as I said earlier, it definitely feels more toyish than the X-T5, but the grip is good. The grip is deeper than the X-T5. That's something that I would have liked on there. But overall, the build quality is decent. I prefer it on the X-T5, but that's an opinion of mine. Martin Phillips asks, I heard the auto mode even chooses the film simulation. I wouldn't want that. It would be important to me that this can be deactivated. And can the auto mode shoot in RAW or is it JPEG only? Now, from my understanding, when you choose auto mode, it does choose the film simulation automatically. I don't remember, but I'm gonna write the answer here, whether or not you can overwrite here. And I do believe that it is also, the auto mode can be used to shoot in RAW. Pink, please ask video quality compared to the X-H2S, please. Now I'm gonna put two footage here, of course not of the same exact footage because I didn't have my X-H2S at the moment. I was shooting with the X-S20, so I'll let you judge by yourself and let me know what you think down in the comment. Alright, so let me know down in the comment if you have any more questions. I'll try to be available when I release this video to answer them. And if you've missed it, check out this video right here where I talk about the X-S20, its specs, and everything that we knew before it's released. See you there.